Hey, sports fans, Haroon Rashid, Khemeia Consulting, and welcome to Haroon's Hangout, the internationally featured show on marketing innovation, making digital marketing simple, straightforward, and fun. Today, SEO innovation, how to stand out on page one of Google. And I have a very special guest with me today, and that is the Khemeia director and founder, Mr. Ian Sharp. Hello, how's it going, Ian?
Hey, good morning, Haroon, and thanks for inviting me on the show. Looking forward to talking about.
No worries, no worries. So we are at a slight delay there, but no worries, no worries. So I wanted to get you on the show today to talk about SEO innovation. Duh. We're going to talk about how SEO has changed over the last couple of years, and how people can change in terms of their SEO strategies and all that good stuff. So just right off the bat, for all the viewers, you may know that, look, okay, we're talking about innovation. Innovation doesn't have to just be about technology. It could be the way that you attract your perfect customer online. It could be the way that you rank on page one of Google. Now, in our experience, a lot of people are focusing on, excuse me, a lot of people are getting their websites ranked, and they're only focusing on getting those pages on their website ranked or their homepage. But did you know you can rank with other bits of content? Okay, you can rank with loads of stuff that aren't even part of your website as well, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Ian, you know a really interesting story that we tell all of our clients and all of our viewers as well. Do you want to just kind of tell that story, which kind of illustrates the point that we're going to be making?
Sure. So I worked with one of our clients on developing his business a bit, and he has a video advertising company, and he's right at the forefront. So he registered his domain names for this actually years ago, because he's quite forward thinking, and then he was trying to convince people that actually that was a great way to market their company and increase their SEO as a result of it. And one of the key things is, if you use all the right techniques, and this is just doing all stuff that you can find on Google but doing it properly and methodically, you can rank. You can rank organically, you can rank fairly quickly, and you can sustain your rankings. So having done all that, we planned out his business, and one of the things that we highlighted was he needed better routes to market. He couldn't just go out there and network himself and find clients. So he was doing some of that, but one of the things he needed to do was to get involved with some agencies, digital marketing agencies. So I'll use the inverted commas, digital marketing agencies, because a lot of these companies were develop a website and they put all the channels on there, but then do nothing with it, and just say to the client, there you go, all you and trying to create partnerships. And he started to tell them about what he did and how he did it, and there's a lot of disbelief out there, because a lot of people drink their own KoolAid. I don't know if you've heard that. That's quite an American saying. But what it means is they believe their own marketing, and they think they're the best at whatever they do. So when somebody like my client went in and started telling them a new way to do things that would outperform everything they were doing, there's general disbelief. And quite amusingly, one CEO of a reasonably large agency actually blocked his exit and demanded that he told him how he did what he did and what was the secret sauce, if you like, that he was using, when actually all he's doing is using all the guidance that's out there and all the stuff that Google publishes, the help, and actually putting that into practice and doing it properly, methodically, and organically outranking some pretty high rated search terms. But the fact is, the guy ended up getting quite aggressive with our client and refusing to let him leave, which our client found quite amusing in one thing, but actually threatening as well. And I think it just goes to articulate that there's a lot of companies out there that aren't willing to innovate, and they've got a business model. It works for them. They're making good money out of it, and something disruptive comes along, and rather than try and embrace it, all they want to do is rip it off or find a way around it. They want to game the Google algorithms rather than doing things properly, and that's totally counter to what we believe, isn't it, Haroon?
Totally. I mean, that is really worrying to a degree. I mean, basically, for the viewers who, I mean, there may have been a slight delay or it may cut out a little bit, but let's just recap really quickly. So what Ian's saying is that basically we and other people out there, other innovative people out there know how to get videos ranked on page 1 of Google. But some of the bigger agencies don't know how to do it, and that is worrying for me because I'm thinking, like you're saying, these are quite big established agencies, and they're getting aggressive and blocking someone from getting out of the door and saying, "Hey, tell us how to do it." And I remember our client just basically had to say professionally, move. So I think that it shows that SEO is evolving all the time, and being such a fast-paced industry, you can't just settle on one technique or one SEO strategy. You've got to always be ahead of the game and keep thinking and be aware of how it's moving. So for viewers who don't know about Google Panda, Google Penguin, and Google Hummingbird, if you're going, Google what? Then we'll put links to those in the show notes to explain what we're talking about. But Google is changing its algorithms, and it's focusing on different things. It's ranking different things now. And what Ian just described there is a classic example of video content. Now, funnily enough, this show, as I said at the top of the show, this is an internationally featured show. Okay, we were broadcast on CBC Radio in Canada. CBC Radio, shout out! But the way that came about is because the business correspondent was doing a piece on LinkedIn marketing, wasn't he? And he gave me an email and said, "Hey, I want to do a piece on LinkedIn marketing for CBC." I Googled something around LinkedIn marketing for business. He goes, "Your video came on page 1 of Google." Now that's internationally. And when you think about it, I'm a lad in Bradford. That's hilarious. Why is it that my video, a kid from Bradford, is having his video ranking up there with the likes of Social Media Examiner and Forbes.com? That's the power that we're talking about here. And Ian alluded to it earlier. This isn't paid stuff. We're not paying for this. This is all free. It's all organic. And it's what Google wants you to do. Isn't that right, Ian? Hello? Can you hear me? Do we have you still there?
Yeah, sorry. I'm
sorry. No worries. Sorry, we have a bit of a delay. I was just talking about CB.
Yeah, I just got to the point where you said it's all free. Actually, we're doing what Google's expecting us to do. We're generating content. We're doing all the right optimizations and by a guy, I've forgotten who wrote it actually, but I read a great article and it said SEO is shrouded in terms to make do even the basic stuff properly, so they're hamstringing their clients straight away. How many sites do we grade, Haroon, and they score really lowly because they've not got just the basic stuff that's been around for years and years now, and they're not, so they're not putting the tags in there. They're not optimizing content. They're not indexing pages properly. They're not doing updates regularly. Just all that basic stuff. That's not rocket science at all. That's just dead basic that's dead basic online marketing techniques that you need to understand and know about. When you get to the more cutting edge, how that content's generated, where it's published, which channels to promote on, that's where you can start to get innovative around what you do for your business and how you interact with your client base.
Totally. For those of you who don't know, like Ian said, we've got a marketing grader. So basically what we do is we grade your SEO, your social media, your online lead generation as a whole, and we give you a score out of 100. And Ian, do you know what the lowest score is I've ever done for a client of ours?
Well, we talked about one the other week, and I think that there was one that got 5 out of 100. Is that on the list?
5 out of 100. I mean, I mean, you think about it. To get 5 out of 100.
Did they even have a website?
No, they did, and that was a sad thing. I mean, they had 5 out of 100, and you're thinking, this is like terrible. And they've already, but the thing is that these people have already got advice, or people who claim to know what they're doing with regards to digital or SEO and social media. But if you're scoring 5 out of 100, I mean, seriously, come on.
Well,
really.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because there are so many analytics and measurement tools out there that will help you fix those basic issues for free. You just need a little bit of knowledge how to use them, what you're looking for, and how to fix those problems. But it's not rocket science. There's loads of people out there that can do that.
Totally. Haroon's Hangout, presented by Khemeia Consulting, where we believe innovation is the key to business growth. I mean, another thing that I think that we keep coming back to with all of our clients is, and particularly since Google Hummingbird last year, is the emphasis on content. Yes. So everyone is saying, yeah, but I want my website ranked on page 1, and I'm going, yeah, but do you know what? You can get a video ranked, you can get a blog post ranked, you can get prezzies and slide shares ranked on page 1 of Google. I'm seeing them cropping up now as well. And the idea is that Google is saying, okay, you've got a website, but what are you doing with it? Are you actually solving your customers' problems and needs? And if the answer is no, it does have an effect on your overall SEO, because Google's going to look at things like how many pages have you got indexed? How many times are you blogging? Is the blogs that you're actually putting out there any good? So you don't just put out, it's quality over quantity, but some quantity does help as well. So if you're kind of like, blogging, I don't know, once a month, that's just not going to cut it anymore. Oh, but I don't have time to do that. Well, then you're not going to rank. It's just as simple as that, isn't it, Ian?
It isn't. So you just touched on another area that's utilised in marketing terms. People know that they need to do it, but they don't kind of know why or what to write about, and that's blogging. So there's a lot of companies now that have a blog, and in fact they've got social channels as well. They don't use them. So what's the point? You're better off not having them there rather than having them there and not populating them. And the time issue is a great excuse. In reality, it's a rubbish excuse, because all it says is you've not to doing that promotion. And in today's world, online, you need to be committed to doing that. Otherwise, you will lose business. You will lose sales. It's easy to set up a blog. There are lots of hosted sites, but you have to have a strategy and a content plan to get out there and publish that content. Moreover, that content's got to be interesting. Otherwise, no one's going to read it.
Absolutely, and you touched it now on another thing. Innovation is as much about mindset as it is about actually doing the stuff. So the amount of times you and I have gone in to see a business. I mean, we did this just a few weeks ago. We went to go see quite a big business in Bradford in the food manufacturing industry. And, people will say quite often to us, hey, yeah, we want to get on page 1 of Google. We want to be the #1. We want to do that. Oh, but by the way, we don't want to have to do what it takes to get there. Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen like that. I mean, in today's online world, I think people have been given bright and shiny promises. Hey, you can have a viral video. You can do this. You can do that. You can get 1 million hits on your website overnight. And the truth is, it is not like that. Things of value do take time. And with innovation and SEO innovation, guess what? It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. You can't just say, yeah, I want to be ranking on page 1 of Google and not produce the content. That's insane. So, I mean, I quite often use the analogy of getting fit. It's the equivalent of me going into a gym and saying to a personal trainer, I want a six-pack, but I don't want to come to this gym, and I want to eat all the junk food in the world. Well, that guy's going to say, what the hell are you doing here? What's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean?
people do and want instant gratification.
Yeah.
That quick hit, what can I pay to get the result? You know, so you'd be buying, if that's your method, you'd be buying raspberry. Everybody does it in all industries. They're looking for that instant gratification. How do we do it cheaply? How do we do it instantly? And the answer is, the good stuff takes time. It really does. You've got to be methodical about it. You've got to be dedicated to it, but you will get the results. And when you get the results, you know, in business terms, you'll be in an unassailable position.
Yeah, and whenever I do talks on SEO or whatever, you know, I do say that I started my digital marketing journey in January 2010, and I got featured on CBC. We got featured on CBC Radio January 2014, almost to the day. So that's 4 years. People say, well, Haroon, is it going to take me 4 years? And I'm saying, no, 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 you're asking the wrong question. It's not a question of how long is it going to take me. It's a question of how much do I really care about my business? How much am I willing to do for this business? Am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to be consistent? Am I willing to put in the hard work? Just like the guy who's out there getting a six-pack. He could eat a burger if he wanted to, but he chooses not to. He chooses to put the time in, to go out for a run whenever he doesn't feel like it, and do everything that it takes to get that six-pack. So, you know, don't say to us, we want to be on page one and then not want to do the work. No, no. You've got to be serious, committed about this kind of thing.
Well, you touched on an interesting point earlier, Haroon, which is the empty promises that we hear people have promised to businesses all the time. So many followers on Facebook, you know, and all this stuff. Yeah, it's all possible, but actually what they're doing is that instant gratification thing that usually trips you up the next time Google updates their algorithms. So this has happened several times now, where all Google are really trying to do is get you to use best practice. So if you're not a bricks and mortar company, you don't have an address, and you don't have any traditional PR, so you're not appearing in the newspapers or in trade magazines that you can physically point to and say, that's where we are. If you've not got other business contacts that are willing to share your website links, then you're in a bad place. And if you just go out and go buy, I mean, the traditional one was go buy 100,000 links from China, right, for $5 or whatever it was. And the equivalent's happening actually on Fiverr.com. Fiverr's a great site, by the way, but Fiverr.com, there are people offering, I'll get you 10,000 real links for $5. It's just nuts. It's insane. And of course, those amongst us who want something for nothing will spend $5. It might get you there now, it might get you ranked now, but you can bet your bottom dollar sometime in the future Google's going to go, do you know what? That's all not right. We're going to penalise you for it.
Yeah, it's going to bite you in the ass. And we've met people who've done that very same thing. They've bought a load of links from China, India, God knows where.
I've never seen the bite marks, though.
Oh, they showed me once. A guy pulled his, I want to actually. You never mind. I won't say the guy, but he pulled his pants down anyway. They were big. Google's teeth marks are big. Anyway.
Quickly moving along.
That's right. Quickly move along. So let's just do a quick recap. I mean, guys, you can get other things ranked on page one of Google. You can get videos. Video is a huge thing. By the way, in case you didn't know, everyone knows that Google is the #1 search engine in the world. But did you know YouTube is the second largest search engine? And who owns YouTube? Google. So it just makes sense for you to rank on page one of Google with videos. Video is a great starting point. Video marketing has exploded and is set to continue to keep going in that direction. So look at other things like your blogs, like Ian talked about. What about slide shares? What about prezzies? What about ebooks and podcasts? All this stuff is content that can get ranked on page one of Google. But you've got to have the right mindset. Don't buy into this whole instant gratification thing that Ian mentioned. Don't go into that road. It's going to be, you know, it's going to take you a lot of time, hard work, and effort and consistency to get on page one of Google. And always be thinking ahead. Look at what trends are happening. Don't get stuck in what people are doing back in 2002 in terms of SEO. God bless those techniques, but they might not work anymore. So buying links from India and China, if you're doing that now, stop. Get in touch with a good SEO agency. We know one. Shameless plug. But if you need some help and you don't know, am I using some of these bad techniques, get in touch. We'll be happy to help you out with that. But, okay, so I think we're going to leave it there, Ian. Did you have
I just thought we might touch on one other thing before we leave it there, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is that all right?
Well, I commandeered your show on Monday, so it's only right that you should hijack mine.
Right, absolutely right. That's what I thought. So I'll save this one. So there's lots of companies help people to understand what they need to do from an SEO point of view and how to do it. And that's crucial for most companies, because they shouldn't be paying an agency to a newspaper advert out without a reason for what you're doing. But people often have a website that's incomplete and not SEO optimized because they're not aware of what they should be doing. So they're trying to outsource it. They're trying to just pay someone to do it for them, but actually it takes a participation. So if you understand it yourself, which is what part of our training is about, and we're going, what you're ranking for.
Sorry, I just had a slight delay there, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned our training process there, and that's one of the things that is, quite frankly, annoying some of our competitors, because we believe that customers should be in control of their SEO. If they understand why you're doing things in a certain way and what kind of effect it could potentially have, it just puts the customer in a much better place, doesn't it? It makes them trust more, and it makes them feel happier about what they're doing from an SEO perspective, doesn't it?
Well, it puts them in control, which is really where you should be if it's your business, right? You should be in control of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like we've always said, there's technical aspects that you may need to outsource, and that's what we do a lot of the time, but our clients have really valued the fact that after we've gone in, they can now optimize things on their website. I hate this thing that happens where you need something small changing on your website. It might be a bit of text, and you ring up the web agency, and it takes 5 weeks, and they go, yeah, 500 quid, please, and you're like, what? What the hell? It was only like a small thing I wanted changing.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. So we don't like all of that stuff, and we want to put people back in control. I think that's the overriding message. We don't like to talk jargon. We like to talk sensibly and straightforwardly about what we do. I think is it simple, straightforward, and fun, Haroon? Is that?
Yeah, that is the tagline. That is the tagline. Yeah, simple, straightforward, and fun. Yeah.
And that's what we like to do. So we like to inject a bit of fun into what's going on, but we like things to be simple and straightforward, just like us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, for those of you who may have seen this for the first time, we have show notes that are going to be in our blog. There'll be loads more information on there about the stuff that we've touched upon today. But we will now, I think we're going to leave it there now, unless you got anything else. Hey, we've got a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Well, guys, Haroon's Hangout was presented by Khemeia Consulting, where we believe innovation is the key to business growth. You can always catch me every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Do check out Ian's show, which is at the Sharp End, which is every Monday, 9 a.m. And you can find his show by either going on the Khemeia website, KhemeiaConsulting.com, or if you just go on Google Plus and type in Khemeia Consulting, you can find his business page there, and there's all the shows on there as well, where you can go and avail yourself of all that great content. So next week, I believe that I'm going to have John the Major Stevenson back on the show, where we're going to be talking about leadership in innovation and marketing and leadership and all that good stuff, so you don't want to miss that. But from me and Ian, take care, sports fans. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, bye.